All right, we're live. People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. And if you're listening to this live, I'd like to hope you're all well and safe and whatnot. Apologies, people, as I get my bearings a bit. It is quite tight and I am getting fatter. But I hope you're all well and safe, man. I'm seeing a lot of comments. I mean, Arteta out of his depth. I mean, I'm not saying you said it, but Arteta was the messiah to some fans, and now he's not. My thing is keep a clear head. Like for me, personally, I believe in Arteta. I feel football fans, not saying you, my dude, but football fans these days, it's not about seeing success of your club. It's about egos. There's too many egos. I feel, fan cams and fan channels, they get a lot of ego and overstate their importance. Usual fans overstate their importance. It's football. Anything can happen. I want Arteta to be a success. I've seen things to suggest you can be a success. Arteta's galvanized the fan base. He's united the fan base. He's improved players. He's shown a basic sort of system that I wanted to see. Things that I wanted to see that under Emery weren't there, and Arteta's now shown it to me. So I can't complain. That being said, just because I want him to be a success, it doesn't mean just because you support Arteta and rate him, don't mean you can't ask questions. Like, I'm a fan of Aubameyang, but when he's not scoring, we need to ask why. Well, the team is not scoring. I need to ask Arteta why. And that's the biggest pet peeve for me personally, is the lack of structure. I was going to talk about this at the end, but that's it for me, apologies, people. Before I carry on, YouTube has just alerted me to something. What? I am live. So apologies, people. We're still here, but some mad technical difficulties. What's going on? It's moving mad. Very mad. But we're back, people. I don't know why YouTube gave me that alert. In fact, before I even carry on with what I was going to say, people, where's my manners? What are you lot saying, man? Tristan has said, big up DG. I think it's time for people not speaking about you to give Pepe the same energy as the other players like Eddie when they come off the bench. When Pepe plays poor, there's always an excuse. I don't really believe that personally, because it just seems like the world is onto Pepe and Pepe can do no right, to be fair, with Arsenal fans. But if that's what you see, that's your thing, my guy. I have seen it, but context is key, man. Context is key. Big up. Chris has said, how comes you don't reply to your DMs? I'm not saying I'm anybody, but I get a lot of DMs and I do try to reply to all of them and whatnot. If you ask, I'm terrible over Instagram, but I like to think I've replied to everything. And if I haven't replied, then it's been something of not relevance. It's no biggie, but I have. And I can't lie. The thing I hate about Instagram, the DMs, is not to sound big-headed or stuff, but it's like it opens up this mad conversation. It's like, you get a lot of you that show love and a lot of you I like speak to, but you get a lot of weirdos that just continuously message, and it's like there's no way of stopping it. So I don't really like to open messages and whatnot, people. Like High Tech said, people are onto Pepe, so I can't really see any praise for Pepe particular. We'll get into this, but that's Aubameyang's fault. Aubameyang's had 8 shots. The team aren't presenting him opportunities to shoot, but if he's had 8 shots, that's down to Aubameyang. Get the ball and shoot. It's a simple game. Let's not complicate things. Complicate things. But as I was saying with Arteta, people, as I was getting on with the Arteta business before I quickly saw what you lot are saying, for me, again, I don't like how football fans just want to be right in life. It's all about the egos, fan channels, fans. It's all about the egos. It's not about supporting the team. When I say support, that doesn't mean be ridiculously positive and condone everything. Have your opinion, but I don't like this always right. There's some man that, back Arteta. By all means, I back Arteta, but it's a thing where I praise and critique fairly. There's some man that are pro Arteta. Arteta can do no wrong. There's some man that say can do no right. There's some people that just want to sit there and say, I told you he was the man. Man that want to say, oh, he was never the man, blah blah blah. Either side might be right, but for me, I don't care about none of that. What I care about is my football club, and what I've seen under Arteta right now is I'm backing him for now. If we get down this tunnel, like I always say, if he deserves the right to get a crack at taking this team through the tunnel and back into the light and returning us to the Champions League. But if I see anything along that hike, getting to the end of the tunnel to suggest, yo, you're not the guy anymore, by all means, we have to switch it up and whatnot. Like, Arteta showed me things that I never saw under Emery. I'm seeing some way of playing. I'm going to get onto that. Trust me, I'm going to get onto that. But I'm seeing some way of playing. improved us defensively. I'm seeing individually and collectively players improve. Players have more confidence. As I said earlier, galvanized the fan base, got them all together. You know, he has shown some qualities. My only problem with Arteta now is a couple of squad decisions, but mainly it's the lack of attacking play or style of play or patterns of play. And specifically, I just wanted to see building blocks. I'm not expecting us to pass like the many Arsenal teams before, pardon me, or pass like the best teams in the world. Apologies. But what I wanted to see is building blocks to say we're getting there, because defensively, from the moment he came in, I'm seeing building blocks. I'm seeing us defend a bit better. Like, even when we played Chelsea and United, we almost threw it away against United and we ran out of gas against Chelsea. But I could say, all right, cool. The players individually are still making the same mistakes, but week in, week out, I'm seeing more improvement. I'm seeing something to get behind. I'm seeing something I believe in. I'm seeing something where I can just suggest, when you get a Gabriel or Saliba at the time and all of those other men, we can improve. But in an attacking sense, I haven't seen that. Now, as I said earlier, if Aubameyang's only had 8 shots, that's down to him. If I'm a footballer, if I'm Aubameyang and I score goals, I'm taking more than 8 shots. You think Harry Kane is accepting that? You think Salah is accepting that? These strikers, I want to see my striker with a ridiculous amount of goals, of shots at goal. And it's Aubameyang's fault why he doesn't have 8 shots. At the same time, yes, he needs people to make goals for him. Yes, he needs creativity. You know, all of that is crippling him. You know, you've made him sign a new deal. I'm not seeing us play to Aubameyang's strengths. I want him to play through the middle. You know, Aubameyang's not going to be here forever, so we should be trying to feed him and making his last sort of significant period at Arsenal as smooth as possible. Not one attacking player is, apart from Saka at a push, is excelling. So that's on these players to wake up. But it's also on Arteta. Like I said, I'm not seeing the building blocks in relation to how we're improving in attacking sets, or we go around it. You know, there's a lot of talk about bringing Aura in or bringing in a creative man. And I get that. We need someone that can break the lines, or we need Ozil back into the team just to try it out. But the way we're playing, I don't think one individual is going to fix this problem, because creativity in a team has to be done by everybody. You think Kevin De Bruyne could unlock teams by himself? Yes, his quality would show and he'd break teams, but his job is made easier because first and foremost, he's having movement. There's a lack of movement in this team. There's no point having creative players or people that can break the lines if people are not going to move. Wingers need to move. Fullbacks need to move. Midfielders need to make different sort of runs. The same goes for the front three. Equally, you need players that want to, you know, play the ball forward, you know, not just the creative man, whether that's Ozil, whether that's Aouar, anyone. Everyone has to want to play that. You know, David Luiz, yeah, David Luiz is a good ball player in centre half. But why is David Luiz, when you've got Ceballos, when you've got Xhaka, when you've got that front three, why is David Luiz the most creative man on that effing football field? The team is doing. David Luiz is taking it upon himself. Like I said, sometimes in games, you need men that want to take it upon themselves, try and break the lines. David Luiz, for all his problems, will do that sort of thing, you know. But why is it David Luiz? Why are the centre mids not saying that? Why aren't the strikers saying that? And that's what I'm saying. It's a two-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. Players have got to have got to pull it out themselves. But equally, you know, the manager has to set up things. And I think if we're working on it on the training ground, fair enough. But I'm not seeing anything to suggest that there's any patterns of play here. And I know Arteta's got it in him, because we've put together some 18, 19 pass moves that have related in good goals. Or even going back to last season against Crystal Palace. It's only of recent that we're kind of questioning Arteta's negativity, you know, and I can't see it. I know he went with 4 at the back, you know, with Partey, the handbrakes off, but he needs to get us to start playing, you know, patterns of play, people. All I want to see in an attacking sense is building blocks, so that I can say, yo, boom, we creative man changes this. Right now, I genuinely feel if you bring in Aouar, you bring in these man, yeah, they will get assists. Yeah, we have a creative outlet and someone to look at, but they're not going to be able to do it alone. Because again, Ozil's a different story, and I'm not talking about Ozil and everything that's been going on with Ozil and whatnot, people. But just speaking of the player on the football field, how many times have we seen Ozil struggle to break down teams by himself, or Ozil having to drop deep and get off the centre halves? That's what will happen with this new midfielder who comes in. They'll be trying to get off the centre halves. If you're there, you're not going to be further up the field. And your fullbacks, I mean, you're not your fullbacks, your wingers are going to drop because that creative man can't find them. Your strikers are, which you're seeing now. Being brave on the ball, being brave in possession, trying to break teams down is a collective effort. And that is one thing specifically that I'm on to Arteta about. That, and obviously at times now, it's early in the season, and don't want to sound reactive, but you're doing square pegs in round holes. I like that he likes to mix. A couple of games ago, who is it against? You're seeing Eddie and Ketty are players of 4-4-2, and then he's playing left wing. You're seeing Buki stuff, like people are playing out of position unnecessarily, excluding the Aubameyang one. You can't expect man to thrive. For me, I would like Arteta to settle on an 11 now. I know it's hard with the injuries. I would find it hard with these players as well. But I think there's too much chopping and changing. I think right now, let's go back to basics because our form hasn't been too good. Let's try and get a little run of form together. And then we move forward past that and see what other things we can do. That's just me personally. I still believe wholeheartedly in Arteta. But what that doesn't mean is that I'm not going to question what he's doing week in, week out. In the same way I praise with energy, I need to use the same energy with looking at him and keeping a balanced hand. We're very left-hand centric. We know a number of reasons. We've got Aubameyang, who's typically our top goal scorer. You've previously had Kolasinac. You've now got Tierney. Saka's there as well. Xhaka pulls out. Xhaka's 9 times out of 10, for better or worse, always on the ball as an Arsenal fan. And as you saw, when teams press Xhaka is one of the best midfielders in the world with a lot of time. The best midfielders do it in tight spaces. When he's pressed, there's problems. And you heard Roger speak about it. When you've got all of these players that gravitate towards the left-hand side, you're going to be left-hand centric. But that's for Arteta to fix. Now, on the right-hand side, I think a big problem has been a lack of consistency. Bellerin's had injuries and whatnot. Maitland's on the left and not really playing on the right. Cedric is in and out, 1 minute it's Pepe, then it's Willian. You need to make a mind up. And that's another thing with Arteta. Every manager's got their favourites, but I think he's playing favourites a bit, I can't understand the Willian thing. I understand it, but at the same time, I think, Willian has lost his place in the team. I know he's injured. If he was fit, he still would have played. I think, you need to cut that same courtesy to other people. I'm not gassing up Pepe's thing because Pepe's been hot and cold, but you never know what could happen with a run of games. Why are certain man getting a run of games and other man not? Every manager has their favourites. Every manager plays favourites. Even your Sunday league manager. To my future child, when I have a Sunday league team, I'm playing favourites. My son is playing week in, week out. No, on a serious note, I'll sub him if he needs to. But I'll have favourites. When I use the coach on Sunday, my little youths, they'll tell you. I used to call one player I used to call him Gaza, because he reminded me of that. And Gaza played every game. 7 years, 8 years of age, under 9, so 7, 8 years of age, badding up teams week in, week out. I used to let him get away with murder. Now, if these boys were a bit older, I would have said, you know what, cool. He doesn't get treated the same as you because he's doing business. I believe in equality and fairity, but treating people the same isn't it? If Gabriel makes a mistake, we're going to have more courtesy for him than if MUSTAFI makes a mistake. I'm not saying this right, but that's it, because we know Gabriel has been better than MUSTAFI, sort of thing. Do you get it? I think one thing as well is Arteta is going to live or die by his own decisions now and his allegiances to players. He shot himself in the foot with the Ozil thing. I think it's above board, but he sanctioned it. And next man ain't come in. So now, you ain't got a leg to stand on with a lack of creativity, even in fact, the sake of highlighting our lack of bringing in players has been compounded more by the fact that we're struggling to create. You bring in Ozil does what he's typically done and gone hiding, people can say, yo, played Ozil whenever they see nothing. You ain't played Willian there. Smith Rowe's been injured, yeah, but he ain't been getting a look in there. Nelson can play there. Saka can play there. There are some things we could do for 2.5 months, but I haven't seen nothing to suggest that. So you've shot yourself in the foot, He's going to live or die, literally live or die by his allegiances to certain players and his own silly decisions, because I do think he needs to be helped, I do think he needs his own players, but how much is that sort of thing, people? It doesn't really make sense, really. We've got to praise and critique fairly. That's all I'm saying as an Arsenal fan, folks, really and truly, really. But we'll see what happens, man. We really have to see what happens, man. Sorry, people, I clip this up. Oh, we want to put that on public, people. Let me 1 sec, people. I'm coming back now. Let's read what you lot are saying in the comments real quick before we move on. We're going to we've actually spoken about, what I wanted to speak about first, people. And that always happens. I come with a little schedule for you guys with my poor handwriting, and you lot come and mess it up with some of your questions. I'm going to stop preing the thing from the start. But let me see what you lot are saying, people. Moderators, I'm seeing a lot of spamming. So that means you lot are not doing your jobs. Go and get rid of anyone who's spamming. Curtis is not joining. He was meant to join. I was meant to do it with Curtis, but he's got some family stuff to attend to, and we'll get Curtis back on the thing. Good point, Jordan. There's going to be ups and downs, and that's why fans can't get too gassed and like they were doing when we got away with it against West Ham or Fulham. You can't get too negative like we're doing now. You got to keep a balance, and that's why I'm saying it's important to praise and critique fairly. Spot on, Jordan. Spot on, man. Big fan of Bielsa, but it's always the manager that's not at your team that's the one you should get, man. I don't think Maitland-Niles has been dropped. I just feel when Arteta's picking his strongest team, it's definitely not Maitland-Niles at fullback. He'll bring him in when he's doing that three at the back thing. Potentially overthinks. I'm starting to think he overthinks about the opposition, but it's the thing where it's not like Emery. I don't think he's blinking. I just think he doesn't trust enough players in this team. I don't think he trusts us defensively. Partey's helping him with that. I don't think he trusts anybody up front, people, really and truly. In fact, that sets us up perfectly for the next topic, people, really and truly, you know, that really does set us up. So let's do that. The next topic I was going to speak about is our striker business. You know, I don't think he's convinced with anybody through the middle. What I mean by that is I think he likes Lacazette. I think he likes Aubameyang. I think he likes Eddie and Nketiah. I think he fully believes in them. I'm not saying they're not good enough. They're this, they're that. So please listen. I just feel if you was to ask Arteta, 38-game period, are you happy with just Aubameyang through the middle, just Eddie and Nketiah or Laka through the middle? He had half-hearted this, you know. You can see the strengths of Aubameyang for the certain games. You know, second half against Sheffield, he went through the middle, you know. Eddie and Nketiah, he gets a couple of starts. Lacazette's got some starts, and they've all got pros, they've all got cons. The whole Aubameyang general player, I get it. He's not the most techy. He's not going to do the Harry Kane. But man just stand there like act like he's just standing there with his arm out, you know. He does get involved. But I understand it. And by that logic, I understand why Arteta might not want to play him, despite I feel that's Aubameyang's best position. Let's go back to basics a bit. You know, I like the options we have in the team. I'm not saying we should rub out Lacazette through the middle, Aubameyang on the left, and Pepe or Willian on the right, or Saka on the left, whatever. You know, different options. The front three that might give us the best chance of beating Liverpool might not be the same against United. There's going to be games for a Laka or someone a bit stronger. Equally, there's games for Aubameyang in behind. I just feel, you know, there's too much square pegs in round holes around the team. And I just feel Aubameyang in the middle, you know, you get Pepe and Saka or Willian and whatever, you know, kind of fast wingers, you know, interchanging play, smart bits of 1-2. They're going to create gaps for each other to exploit. Aubameyang is best when there's gaps created, you know, and I think through the middle, he's great. It's the age-old one. For me, he plays through the middle. That's his best position, and that's where he plays significantly. But playing out wide, I don't mind it, because obviously when he's scoring, it's not a problem. You know, he's not scoring, so we're more aggy around it. When he is scoring, it's like, he should be through the middle. But I don't think he's convinced I don't think he loves Aubameyang and he knows how important he is to the team. Clearly, I'm not saying that. I just feel he's not sold on the credentials wholeheartedly through the middle. I don't think he rates Lacazette like that. He likes him in the squad, but I don't think he's convinced. Eddie's shown that he can have a role in the squad, but I don't necessarily think he's convinced. He's tried the Willian number 9 thing as well, for whatever reason. Why Aubameyang couldn't do that, I don't know. But he wasn't convinced with that, and I think we'll see. So I think he believes in these players and believes in their ability to help us along the season and be part of this future. But I don't think he's genuinely convinced in any of their capabilities wholeheartedly to give them a significant run through the middle. And I definitely don't think Aubameyang, now we know Martinelli's injured. Potentially with Martinelli returning, it complicates things for Lacazette, for Eddie Nketiah, for Aubameyang, and for Arteta. And that's what you want. You want good problems. But I would like to see Aubameyang through the middle, at least while he's not scoring goals. Can we freshen things up a bit? Because one thing I hate, but I love the work he gives defensively. And when it's games like City in the FA Cup, you can do it all. You know, there's space. Other times, when you got a team like Leicester in the first half, or before they scored more or less, you know, 2 banks of 4-4-5-1, bare man behind the ball. You've got Aubameyang crossing it, you know. If I'm Johnny Evans, I'm laughing, you know, because what did you do? The biggest, if I'm Casper Schmeichel, I'm laughing. You know, if I'm Johnny Evans and I can see Aubameyang, and I'm laughing. You know, Aubameyang's the most dangerous. When you've looked to your left or right as a fullback or a centre-half, he's gone, you're in trouble. I am laughing. You know, if I'm Casper Schmeichel, I'm laughing, because, again, Aubameyang needs to take responsibility for not shooting and the rest of the boys. But, again, there's something wrong with the tactics, because if I'm Casper Schmeichel, you know, yeah, Lacazette should have scored, and we did score one, it got disallowed. But what really did you have to face? I'd say off the top of my head, the Bellerin one, where ironically, Aubameyang's the one crossing it, you know, for Bellerin. I don't like this ifs and buts, because we can only deal with facts, people. But if it's Bellerin, or when Bellerin's crossing is a bit meaty. So let's say if that's Kieran Tierney or something, and Aubameyang's on the end of it, someone who's paid to score goals, does he work Casper Schmeichel a bit more? I don't know. Ifs and buts, can't deal with that, can only deal with the facts. But I know if I was a Leicester player, I would be laughing. You know, I'd be laughing at Aubameyang out wide. you know, not because it's an easy game. You know, he's fast, he will track back, you know, he's still going to have that run, but you know, you've got 5 at the back, you know, Aubameyang's going to run into a blue shirt somewhere, you know, he's going to get frustrated. Equally, he could have been playing through the middle and it could have been a sea of shirts. And again, Aubameyang's not the man to hold it into his chest and all of these sort of things. So there's never one thing. And that's why I'm always saying over a 38-game period, people, you can't just have one thing. You know, Aubameyang's through the middle 9 times out of 10, but there might be games, yo, Aubameyang, this is a job for you on the flank still. I'm going to bring in Lacazette or bring in Eddie, or even, you know, 2 up front and some wingers. Again, it's different problems. But the problem is we don't know what we're trying to do in an attacking sense. There's too much freestyling. The only consistent guy is obviously Aubameyang, and wherever Saka plays, you know, Saka is going to chip in an attacking sense. They're the only assurances, you know. There's too much uncertainty around our defense. But I genuinely don't feel he necessarily rates any of them people, really and truly. I'm not going to cap to you. I'm really not. But that's just what I believe. So on that front, that's that. So let's put in Aubameyang not rated through middle. And if this hasn't done it properly, please don't tell me I'm going to have to individually cut these all up, people, man, because that was around the 20th minute mark. You know, apologies, people. First 12, Mikel, let's say what, 14th to maybe 20th or so was probably this, which was, my mind's gone blank now, Arteta strikers. So what else have we got, people? So yeah, we've done that now. We've done the striker thing. Let's see what you lot are saying, man. You've got to hit them. You've got to, you know, you need movement. You know, there's no pace without movement is pointless, you know, because against Leicester, we're just sitting in front of Leicester. You know, anyone can deal with pace. You get 2 men ahead of them, you might get past one, you're going to bump into a shirt. You need movement. Aubameyang needs movement. You know, all the front 3 need to move. It's not always going to come to them, but you might have made a run on the right wing, and that space has been, that space that's left can be exploited by a midfield runner. And that's for the players to take it upon themselves, but it's also for Arteta to encourage midfield runners, to encourage his wingers and fullbacks to make out to in and into out runs. You know, it's down to him to get that sort of stuff going. We don't use our pacey players. I know Pepe frustrates, but we don't play in behind for him. You know, I know he's a very good player, you know, in terms of standing people up in tight spaces. And if he could improve at that, it'd be even better and just know when to release the ball. But we don't play it in behind. You know, I've been saying, how many Aubameyang goals do you see? There's only a handful we can all remember off the top of my head, like real Aubameyang goals, ball over the top, ball into space, Aubameyang running in behind, and all the defender can see is the mohawk. How many times do we see that? We don't see that all too often. You know, we don't play to Aubameyang's strengths. We don't really play to much strengths. You know, I wouldn't even say we play to Lacazette's strengths, even though Lacazette has been woeful, really, based on last game. I'm not going to be reactive because he has got 3 goals. Let's ting him up a bit. Let's respect his thing a bit, man. Marcus Gotti having PTSD from Unai Emery. Early days, man, but Ishmael, you're allowed your opinion. You're allowed your opinion. You're allowed your opinion. Edison, interesting point. I think he wants that, but he wants someone with a bit of pace, and I think Martinelli is that, really and truly. He does need to be down the middle, but you know, Mo Salah isn't exactly playing through the middle. He's playing on the right or in that right inside forward role. He's still looking off shots. So we can only, it's a double-edged sword. We can't, you know, we need to just accept it for what it is. We can't just be on one side and the other. There's 2 sides to every story. We've all played football, and I think we're all victims of overcomplicated things. If you're a striker playing on the wings, yes, it might not be to your strengths. Yes, you might be crippled. Yes, the team might not be feeding you. But, you know, there are other things you can do. If you ain't scored, if you ain't taking a shot, it's down to you. It's like me as a fullback. If my winger's not backing me and I'm getting ripped, I'm at him because he's playing with it. But if I don't make a slide tackle, or I don't win a 1v1, or I allow a cross in it, he might have contributed to it. But it's down to me to pattern up a bit as well. There's 2 edges. There's 2 sides to every sword, man, really and truly. You know, I'm seeing a lot of regulars. Big up Joe. He said, agree that this is a team thing and not individuals. The reality is that when we lose, people will get gas, and the meltdown when we lose. When we win, people will get gas, and the meltdown when we lose. People just need to calm down. This is going to be a slow burn. And that's it. You can have your questions, but rein it in a bit. If there comes a time where Arteta, it looks like under Emery, where, and obviously Wenger to a degree, where you need to be moved on, then it is what it is. You know, it doesn't work out, we move on from him. We don't need to be so anti-Arteta or so in love with the guy. You know, it's a job. Are you the man to bring back Arsenal to where we need to do? It is what it is. Jordan's on fire, yeah, bro. Because he talked about this. I can't see him. You know, Wenger on his bad worst of days had us bopping it with some shit players. You know, that attacking shouldn't be Arsenal's problem. Real talk, people. Attacking shouldn't be our problem. Attacking should not be Arsenal's issue, people. Like, sit there and deep it, people. Actually sit there and comprehend it. You might not like Lacazette. You might have question marks over Aubameyang. You might not rate Willian. You might think Pepe is overrated. You might not rate Saliba'S, yeah? And the rest of them. That's not enough, people. You know, I'm sorry, but, you know, we could talk about better players, but that's not enough to suggest that that's not it. That's that we can't play better, you know. There's no excuses for not being able to ping some triangles together and play with a bit more attacking intent and have a bit more movement. Our attacking players is the least of our worries. You know, you can have problems over Lacazette. He's not a goal-scoring 20-year-old, 20-league goal man. Aubameyang, again, you know, his age, he's still doing well, but regardless, we still need to look for a replacement. You know, Pepe and William frustrate for various reasons. Regardless, and Saliba'S behind them, the players need to pattern up because they're not playing well. No individual player in attacking sense, apart from Saka, is playing well. But attacking shouldn't be a problem. It should not be our major problem at Arsenal. It should be the easiest thing to fix because he spoke about returning to values, because of the players we have. You know, you've done the harder job in fixing our defense with worse players, with worse habits. So what's going on in the attacking sense? And that's down for the players to fix up. But again, down to management. You know, people talk about a lack of attacking options. I hear that. Is any attacking player right now playing to full potential? Just give me one. If one is playing to full potential, I'll shut up. And that's down to the players again. But that's again the same way I praise Arteta for defending. It's also down to him. Attack should not be a problem in this team. You know, in an ideal world, you marry the defensive stuff he's come with us playing to full capabilities in an attacking sense. And we shouldn't be having the sort of season we're having. I'm not saying we should be winning leagues and stuff, but we shouldn't have to be, you know, one, two shots in the second half against Sheffield, taking 80 odd minutes gone on the clock, and we're losing against Leicester and we've had one shot. The players need to stop being toothless, but it goes back down to the coaching sessions, you know, because the players weren't, you know, we were very quick to praise him for the defensive work, but we've got to keep the same energy, people. Attacking should not be an issue at Arsenal, people. And I think a lot of it for is because of constant changing of players' roles. And I'm not too sure Arteta's settled on the best 11. And if you don't know your best 11 right now, there's problems, people. There always is going to be problems. But we'll see what happens in that regards. Make sure you're smashing the like button, folks, man. Hit up the like button for me, people, please. Hacking should not be an issue. That's going to get put to the private ones and, yeah, potentially be released for the folks that are not here. Big up everybody tuned in, man. It's appreciated, man. We've got 200 odd people, man. That's it. We don't have the personnel. That's what I was saying in another video. You know, when you've got a team like that, you can afford to tell Bernardo Silva you're playing on the right, now you're playing Cam, now you're playing deeper. We ain't got that sort of thing. You know, there's only a couple players that can play a couple of roles and play them relatively well at this club, you know, really and truly. And, you know, you have to, Arteta's the one playing these guys in these roles, so you have to look at him. An Android user said, I just watched your Arsenal Leicester video. Don't know, my guy. What else you lot got to say before we move on? So what? We've done the Arteta thing. We've spoken about the Aubameyang one. Oh, interestingly, you know, we'll talk about that in a sec. We'll get on to Saliba in a sec. That's it. That's it, you know. For years, we had creative players. We said we need a striker and a defensive mid. Then we needed a centre-half. You finally arguably got all of them, and there's still something to moan about. It's a madness. It's a real madness. It's a real madness, man. You know, maybe only certain people will get that username, but maybe he's trying to be too smart. It's a one to talk about, man. Ali, I hear that, but at the same time, I think he's all these decisions to a degree. You know, he's sanctioned because he is now a manager. He's not a head coach. You know, he said Ozil, whether we believe it or not, is a decision of his. So he's set himself up for fire. So if you've had more of a say in the transfer market, why didn't you move hell and earth to bring in a creative player of some sort? You didn't. So you must have been happy with what was here in-house. And we can't see anything to suggest that. So it is what it is. You know, Ozil's done, man. He's not going to play. We need to move in January, either bringing someone in. But with all due respect, Cotton, and I'm not saying you, but we can't talk about Jan. Jan is irrelevant because for 2.5 months, well, it's turning November soon, you know, 27th of October, we have to work with what we have. Screaming by one in January is irrelevant. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us against Man United at Old Trafford. It's not going to help us in the North London derby to come. It's not going to help us against Leeds, against Villa, and all of these sort of things. It's going to get a mad thing. It's going to get mad. It's going to get mad. So we'll have to see, man. He's working his way back to full fitness, but I would like to see him get a try. He needs an opportunity, man. Not too sure about that. I just think many fans, Courtney, would just want people to just, you know, want Arteta to marry the building blocks defensively with a bit more attacking intent. It does seem a bit defeative. Big up Hamid, you know, 75 likes. Let's get it to 100. Please, can we get that to 100 people? Let's get that one going. I've been saying we have no goals from midfield, man. That's it. We don't have goal scorers in our team. There's not really genuine goal scorers or goal threats in our team. But I think if we play a bit more attacking football, then opportunities might fall to someone, people. Marcus, you're a moderator because I made you one today, my guy. So please make sure the man them are patterning the thing in there. I think Balogun should be given an opportunity to show what he's about. But again, you know, it's difficult. It's a difficult one, man. I agree. But then again, the case is the players have not only have to have the ability to find these players going in behind, but they've got to have the confidence. You know, David Luiz is doing Xhaka and Saliba'S' job. Why is that? You know, you lot should be saying, yo, Luiz, calm yourself down with that frequent passing. We're going to make this happen. So it is what it is. Edison, and while I agree, at the same time, that's Arteta's prerogative, and he's going to live or die by that, you know, because you know, as much as you focus on defending, attack is a good form of defense. People say we'll be split open and that, and a lot of that's true, but it's not sustainable, really, what we're doing. And, you know, own players, I'm not too sure how much that really stands for reasons I've said already, but appreciate the comments, my guy, man. Appreciate the comments. But every manager in life is an overthinker, really and truly. That highlights the problem. 12 shots in the whole game at a period we're having 1-2 shots. I wouldn't mind Willian in the 10 role, but for some reason he's not been played there apart from the second half against Sheffield. Wow, I didn't feel sorry for us. Don't be, man. Don't be, cause when you lot lose, I'm on to you lot, man. Yeah, man, it was sad, bro. 4-1. We didn't lose 4-1. That was you're talking about the AFC Edmonton highlights. That was a couple of weeks ago. That was rather sad, man. It was, you saw our keeper, bro. It shouldn't have been that. You saw our keeper. We had a 30 team. It's not a thing. It's really sad, man. So I'm sure you've seen the handbags as well. Lacazette scored 3 goals. Listen, I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is one thing I don't have time for. If you're going to call man poor, call man poor. Don't use one to bash the other, because we could turn around and say, and again, I'm not saying you said that, Lacazette's got more goals. Aubameyang's been more of a difference maker. You know, it's at the same time, they're both facing criticism. Aubameyang ain't scored in 5 games. Lacazette has been scoring. However, he should have added to his goal scoring record on Sunday, and he was atrocious. I don't believe in people taking it over the top beyond that, but it is what it is, man. None of them, man, there wanted to come to Arsenal because they're not going to be given money. There's question marks over the structure, you know. Big up Arteta for coming here, but it is what it is, man. What else we got in here? Oh, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is beaky. You can call him whatever you want under the sun, but, you know, whenever his job seems to be at threat, them and they start playing well. They beat PSG. They got a point against against Chelsea. You know, their form has been a bit shaky, but, you know, it's a difficult one, and we ain't won there since 06. I want that badly to change on Sunday, but we'll have to see, man. Good way of seeing it. Arteta and Emre are complete opposite in both a negative and positive way. Emre had a poor defense but better attack, while Arteta has a better defense but no tactical attacking sense of purpose. More or less this. What I'm seeing is, I see where you're going with. I think it's more or less the same, really. Both just ramping with the thing, really. But what else have we got in here? I think Lacazette's, I can't lie, I feel that, my guy, but I think Lacazette's creative output is thingy overstated. You know, man, Maker is the most creative player ever. I'm not belittling Lacazette. I think he's a quality player, but not really behind that. And is he going to run enough? You know, is he going to take, you know, because Lacazette does tire out pretty early, puts in a lot of work, he presses, but is he going to tire out? Is he going to tire early? Not too sure about his capabilities in that 10. We'll have to see, man. Strikers are always going to miss, but you're only as good as your last game. Lacazette scoring 3 goals is irrelevant because he never bagged in the last game, man. So he's gonna have to hold that, man. Really, he's gonna have to face the music, really and truly. Simple as that, really. We just need to buy a creative midfielder, personally, my guy, and set up on the and work on the coaching front week in, week out, from Monday to Friday, on putting patterns of play together and playing triangles and the rest of it. Yeah, it's easier said than done, Jordan, though, man. I hope you're right, but you know, it's difficult to do business in January. Again, you know, it seems like our dead wood are content on staying put. So how much is going to change, man? I wish. I'm a right back, left back. Hey, listen, I would love to play 10. You might not have the precise passes and that, but at least I'll run around and that, man. But it's a fullback thing. It's a fullback thing. Arteta, if you're out there, I'm good. I'm good for 60 minutes a game. I'm lying. I'm good for 10. But if Jenkinson can make, anyone can. And that's on the players, you know. They've got to remove that handbrake, man. My guy Ethan need to bounce back the weekend. Need to bounce back from the weekend, but I ain't got faith with our record against the big six. I need to see Alba down the middle. We need a creative mid so badly. Free Ozil. Feel you, my guy, but Ozil's irrelevant in this thing, car. It's a myth, man. Chad, facts. It does. You know, you can't absolve yourself. You cannot absolve yourself. Because when it worked against the other teams, we were saying, you know what, conceded possession, we've done a madness, you know, so it's the same logic. And for me, it's mainly against the smaller teams. We need to be cutting teams open. We need to be moving stronger. So you're right, man. Lucas, once again, would not mind Willian in the 10 role at all, but it is what it is. Nah. 60 minutes in number 10 fullback thing. And let's change that to 10. Yeah, I guess you could give him a free roll in there, but I'd rather do the Willian thing. I'm not really on that. That one there's a bit mad still. Just let him play out wide. South London's finest has said, DG, would you agree the most fluid we saw our front three was West Ham away? Our front three of Aubameyang, of Oba, Pepe, Martinelli. You're talking about last season. You could argue that, yeah, but I think when you talk about fluidity, you got to be talking about Saka as well. So, you know, you got to throw Saka in there somehow, you know. But I see your angle. I want a front three like that because for me, that's fast, that's interchanging movement, that's bare things, man. It is what it is. It's rubby, innit? It's rubby, but it's probably gonna be the thing that happens, man. The real Gunner Leah said, big up DG. I think Oba doesn't have good hold-up play even on the left because often his back is turned, receiving it similar to Pepe. He needs to be running behind the defense. He needs to be running in behind, but people have got to put them balls in behind. The last 2 times he's played City at their ground, you see him visibly frustrated, man. Hey, Marcus, regulating. That's why you're the moderator, man. Yes, I've been impressed by Gabriel. And you know what? On the topic of Gabriel, in fact, 1 second. Big up Liam Bailey. It means a lot. Hold tight, my guy. I rate you, bro. Keep cracking, G. It means a lot. Thank you for that $5. It means a lot, my guy. It really means a lot. I hope you and your family are doing well and safe and you know, remain in good spirits. But before that threw me off, you know, Ethan asked me, have I been impressed by Gabriel? And that takes me to my next one that I wanted to speak about, people. It's almost the end of October, so we might as well speak about Player of the Month. My Player of the Month is Gabriel. You know, Gabriel, you know, loves defending. We just wanted someone that loves defending. Competent, consistent, confidence. The 3 C's I wanted to see. Consistent. I don't care if you're good on, you know, you can be as great as you want on Thursday. If you're not good on Sunday, it doesn't make sense because I can't trust you. Confident to play those passes. Even in nervy moments, you make some dodgy passes, and we're going to speak about that, but the confidence to still go and get that. Competence. Can you actually defend? The modern day, what we're trying to do, we need a ball playing centre half. He can ball play. He likes to defend. He likes to get tight. He's an aggressive centre half. For me, Gabriel, the only things now you can see the rawness in him. You know, he's hit the ground running quicker than I thought he would. You know, I thought he was going to be good, but you know, he's definitely one of the Premier League signings of the season, people, in my opinion. But There's an element of rawness in his game. Sometimes he makes an unnecessary foul. For me, you've seen in the last three games he's played, he did it once against Sheffield for David Luiz. He did it on his debut against Fulham, and he actually did it against Leicester. He can, at times, he's susceptible to losing his concentration, and his passing doesn't quite have the crisp play, and it does set people in trouble. Like, you know, in the build up to David Luiz having to sprint to go in. Do you remember when David Luiz went down, people? That came not because David Luiz never got injured because of what Gabriel did, but just to highlight the point in the match, the reference point. Just before that, Gabriel gave an easy pass away, and then, you know, there was that. That's the only thing in Gabriel's game that he needs to improve. Obviously, as he gets more comfortable, as he starts to become more of a leader, you do see him being quite vocal. And obviously, the language barrier is still an issue. You will see him, you know, be more of a leader, be more of a vocal sort of point. But at 22 years of age, £27 million, 5 million up front, we've done a madness. And, you know, for every Gabriel, we've missed out on a bag of targets, but terrific signing here for the future. You know, he's a quality player, man. I've been very impressed with Gabriel. How can you not be impressed with Gabriel? In terms of Gabriel as well, on the topic, for me, Gabriel is my player of the month, people. He's my player of the month. As I said, you know, he's been quality. He's been one of the players I couldn't have asked for anything more. Second, I would say, but personally, Bukayo Saka. Because I think Saka's been good as well. I think Gabriel and Saka have been very good. If there was a third, I'm not too sure who would grab third place. You know, I think Tierney's been consistent. You know, I think David Luiz has been okay as well. Lacazette ain't really been doing the business. Pepe Willian ain't been doing the business. Aubameyang's had a terrible time in front of goal of late. Eddie and Nketiah, for me, needs to do a bit more. I wouldn't say Xhaka or Saliba'S either. Partey's not really played. So for me, it's Gabriel and Saka. I can't really think of a third one. You know, I'd say Gabriel and Saka. At a push, I would probably say David Luiz, based on what I've seen this month from him. I can't really ask any question marks off him off the top of my head, but there's not really a third man. Bellerin up until the last game was also good as well, but I'm not really, if I'm honest with you, I feel like I'm forcing the third man, people. I feel Saka and Gabriel first, Gabriel first, Saka second, and then, you know, the third position is debatable, because for me, Tierney's been good, Bellerin's been okay, David Luiz has done all right, so it's a debatable one. I'll leave the third one up to you lot, but the first two are who I'm going with. You know, they're two of the youngest and should be the most naive players. You've got Saka, who a year ago, shout out to Saka, but where was he a year ago? You've got Gabriel, who you know, should be having his hand held. He's holding people's hands, people. So it is what it is in that regards. It's a quality. They're two quality players, really and truly. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards. Apologies, people. Gab player of the month. Where was that? Pablo, I'm not too sure that makes sense. You need in the modern game your fullback, your 10 to drift, and all the stationary 10s don't bang in today's day and age. I don't think Tierney and Saka get in each other's way. In fact, they play quite well together, but I respect your opinion. We all see it differently. I just don't agree with such. You know, we're getting a lot of Bellerin. Great as I am is saying David Luiz. You know, Ethan again is saying Bellerin third place. I think this has to be trolling about Lacazette, you know. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see in that. So, there's you lot. I beg the spamming. Love for that, my guy. Keep hitting up the like button. Actually, people, you know, we might as well get on to what I would say is the last actual thing I was here to speak about, people, is actually in relation to Saliba. Now, Saliba in the Europa League is irrelevant. He cannot play in it, you know, but he can play in the Premier League. Now, I think his time's coming. Now, again, I don't want his time to come in circumstances of injuries and things like that. Ironically, people will probably be fit, but his time might come. You know, we all know Saliba. We've heard he was hyped up by the club. You know, not that they're going to be world class. You've seen all the, you know, the jet videos and all the things, and he's not been involved. You kind of set yourselves up to fail. If he's not ready, he's not ready. If he's suffering psychologically, he's not ready. It is what it is. My problem is this. You know, I think Gabriel can do a Fofana and learn on the job. There will be times Fofana plays poorly, but, you know, when you got someone like MUSTAFI, who is a repeat and serial offender for making those mistakes, and at 27 or so years of age, you know, who is more likely to learn? This guy has been here for numerous years, played for Germany at national team level, signed for £35 million. Actually, he's been here since we played in the Champions League and still making those same mistakes. Or a 19-year-old who's got 32 appearances, you know, who's more likely to learn from their experience? Who more likely are you going to give time to? It's Saliba. You know, Saliba might do the same mistakes, but he's going to learn. MUSTAFI, you know, he has good bouts of form, but ultimately he will let you down. I don't want to scapegoat MUSTAFI for the goal we conceded. He did have a big part to play, but it is a culmination of errors. But for me, I'd rather give Saliba game time. You know, if Saliba's not ready, I agree with Arteta, but it is concerning that if you feel a couple of these centre-halves are more deserving of minutes and you're giving MUSTAFI a new contract, what does that signal? Now, if you want MUSTAFI to be a squad player and the homegrown thing, I get it. But I think Saliba might get his opportunity. You know, there's been a couple of injuries, Holding's out. You know, Marie and Chambers, only God knows where they are in terms of their fitness timeline. David Luiz is now out. You know, it just leaves us really the only centre-half confidence in is Gabriel. You know, let's try and get that partnership going, you know, or can we go, even if you don't believe in Gabriel, right, Saliba right now, protect him. Back free thing, even though I don't want the back free. You know, do you go Gabriel, Saliba, and then put a bit of He's a bit more street smart than them, man. There, you can talk to them, man. Obviously, Gabriel, I'm pretty sure he's got a good level of French, or he must do there as well. I think Saliba's chance is coming, but I am concerned that why he hasn't been given a chance, because I get it if he's not levels, but I'd rather him get the opportunity. And I think Saliba's opportunity is coming. He just needs to remain patient. As his former manager, Claude Puel, said, he's going to have good games, he's going to have bad games, but I think he can cope, man. Either way, you know, when you're met with adversity, it can be a benefit. Because, you know, Gabriel will go for adversity. He's had the best start you could ask for from a centre-half, 22 years of age, going at Arsenal. But there's going to be times he makes mistakes, his form drops, and he's going to have to handle it. Saliba's been met with adversity early on in his career right now. And it's going to, you know, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And I think Saliba will come out of this in a good way. And I think with the injuries happening, his opportunity will come. Maybe Manchester United, Old Trafford away is too early. Obviously, he cannot play on Thursday because he's not registered. Might have to concede, you know, under 23s this week. But the games are coming thick and fast, and there will be opportunities. You know, again, because for me, the only centre halves I'm trying to rely on this season is the new boys. You know, Gabriel, Saliba, Pablo Marie, class him as a new boy. I like Holding, and Holding's shown that he can do a thing. But again, you know, Holding, Chambers, David Luiz, who's done well, you know, MUSTAFI, Socrates, they've all had good, the critics will say they've all had good bouts of form. They're all not terrible defenders, but somewhere along the line, the man, they let you down and they've got bad habits. But we need about 5 defenders on our books, and we're going to have to see what happens in the summer. But I believe in Saliba, and I think his chance is coming. How his chance is coming or when his chance is coming, obviously, I don't know. But we'll have to see, man. In my opinion, that's another one for the private one. See how I care about you guys, so you can get bite-sized clips and the rest of it, people. That's all we was here to talk about, really. You know, in fact, there is one more before I get into you lot's questions. A lot of people speak about sorry, someone threw me off, but a lot of people speak about Arteta and his use of young players. Why isn't he using young players? Does he use young players and whatnot? And I agree with that. But at the same time, I think it's a bit harsh. First and foremost, the young players, they need to be given a chance to develop. But for me, I'd say they need to be 70% ready. They need to be ready. You know, they're going to, you know, we all know with these young players, they're trying to add consistency. You know, you don't know what you're getting from 10 games. You know, there's a lot of young players in the squad, but at the same time, they have to be ready. You know, there's a lot of things to worry about. He can't sit here and say, I'm going to just play all these young players, especially look how Arsenal is right now with all this frustration. If Arteta slaps all these young players on the field, are people going to be happy? No, they're not. And I don't necessarily agree. I would like to see more young players used, definitely Reece Nelson, but I don't necessarily agree with it because I do feel more chances should be given. But the same time, chances have to be earned. You know, who's really grabbed their chance? Saka's grabbed his chance. I'm not even looking at him as a little young player no more. He's a 19-year-old man, and he's one of the best players to start week in, week out. He's grabbed his chance. He's played to a level of, he's shown high standards of competency, of consistency, of competency. The other players, they have one good game one week and then they're poor the other. And why I agree, it's hard when you just get one opportunity to take it. You need to be given a run. You need to be showing something to suggest you deserve that. And I think Saka and Martinelli, prior to his injury, did that. And I think it's not true because he's used Eddie. Eddie was supposed to go out on loan. Eyebrows were raised. Eddie's been used under under Arteta. You know, he's kept Lacazette out the team. He's found a little role for himself. You know, I think Saka's the one playing on the majority basis because he's the only one that really deserves it. Smith Rowe is working his way back from injury, but from last season he's been hot and cold. It's down for him. Nelson's the one I'd like to see more opportunities. Grab your opportunities. I think I'd say you have to be 70% ready. That extra 30% is just trying to get more confidence in these players, more consistency, and just game management and tactical understanding. I don't think, you know, Nelson looks good one week, he's a bit shaky the other. Not that he's been given a chance week in, week out. Emil sometimes goes hiding, and it seems a mental thing with Emil, a personality thing. The technicality is there, but he's got to want it a bit more. Not that he doesn't want it. I just want to see him put himself around a bit more, you know, be a bit more demanding of his teammates. I think Saka does that. I see Saka open his mouth a lot. You know, they have to earn it. Eddie's been given opportunities. He hasn't done anything to suggest that, you know, beyond being a pressing striker, he's not clinical to the standard where he's going to play week in, week out. Joe Willock's a squad player. You know, he hasn't grabbed his opportunities to suggest that, you know. Saka and Maitland-Niles have been used. Now, Maitland's a whole different debate because of his, you know, where are you going to play him? Strongest 11, does he get in under Arteta unless it's on the wings, on at wing back? I'd say no. But you have to earn your spot and you have to be ready. At the same time, I think, you know, could be given an opportunity, but what young players, the ones are in and around the team right now, are ready for that. You know, they've got to be patient, really. They've got to earn it. And at the same time, as much as I want to see Smith Rowe and that, I don't think it's fair to say Arteta isn't using young players. I don't agree with that, but it is what it is in that regards. I can't take anybody's opinion away from them. Arteta in young players. Sorry, people, I dashed that on private, you know my thing. So yeah, man, I think that's actually everything on my poorly handwritten bit of notes, people. We've covered everything. Let me see what you're doing. You know, if you think Nelson isn't good, that's fair play. You know, it's just down to him to prove people like you wrong. You know, there's been players I haven't felt are wrong, are right, are good enough, and they've done something. He is better than MUSTAFI, but I just think it's an experience thing. I think Arteta is reluctant to give him that experience, and which is quite poor, really. Listen, I'm seeing a lot of comments about people that do this reaction thing. A like, man, a like. Please make sure you're smashing the likes button. 300 odd of you in here, man. Get all up in there. But no, man. A lot of people say to protect Gabriel's to protect MUSTAFI's resale value. Resale value for what? This is a man we've tried to flog. It's documented. I'll go and speak to them transfer man. They say it. We've tried to flog him every year since we've signed him. We tried to send him to West Brom for Johnny Evans. What resale value is there? If nobody was going to take a basement sort of punt on him with the sort of turnaround in form he had prior to his injury under Arteta, with the fact of his contracts running down, with the fact of he's actually at the right age for a centre half. If no one's going to take a chance on him with 6 months or so before he can talk to teams or so, who is going to take a chance on him now? Like, you might as well just cut your losses, let him go for free. Why? You know, you're probably going to offer him reduced terms, which at his age he shouldn't accept. You know, if he's comfortable in London and the team and Arteta likes him, fair play. But for him, you know, he's got to think about his next big move, and it's got to be a decent paycheck, you know, because of his age. Also, you know, his family, he's got a young family, he's got a wife, and, you know, you hear a big part of wanting to return to Italy is potentially those things. Just if you can't sell him for a basement period, let him go. In fact, funny enough, an offer comes from MUSTAFI. I'm trying to sell him in January, people. But funny enough, I'm not forcing it, you know. I'd rather him just stay and leave on a free transfer, you know, because I look at our centre-halves, they're dropping like flies, you know. Like I said, if it was up to me, disregarding, you know, Saliba not getting game time, whatever, people, Saliba plays for me. Gabriel plays for me. You know, I don't really know Pablo Mari's real true level, and he hasn't had too many opportunities, and he's a new centre-half, so he gets somewhat game time over me. I've got a lot of time for Holding, you know. I know he frustrates, man, but Holding plays for me, you know. Then there's potentially that fifth choice. So again, it is a bit political, really and truly. There's 5 man, and, you know, I'd entertain MUSTAFI going, but I'd entertain MUSTAFI just staying, running out his contract. You know, you're there for depth. There's a man there if someone gets injured, and you do what you need to do in the summer, man. We're at that point now where, you know, if we can get fees, then why not? But I'm pretty sure in August we all looked at MUSTAFI, at Socrates, at Mesut Ozil, David Luiz, to a degree, signed a new deal. I thought these men would walk in 2021. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Bro, I think he does to a degree at times, but I think that's no, I don't actually. You know, he does. He could calm that down a bit, but no. And like you said, it's all kind of irrelevant when Mustafi's playing. Really, like it's irrelevant. You know, you have to wonder how bad Saliba might be judged in Arteta's books, but I think it's a madness, man. Bro, Partey is going to be as frustrated as us. They're doing up the sideways thing. You know, I hope him and Gabriel don't get brainwashed into doing that calamity as well. You're right, Hamid. Chambers was putting in the shift, and Arteta was using him ahead of Mustafi. You know, maybe if Chambers never got injured, you know, Mustafi might have not had that revival. I don't know. Facts. No centre half has been the finished article. You know, Saliba needs time. He will have terrible games, but it is what it is, man. We need to do a thing. George, big up my guy from Washington. My DC man, big up the American man. George, you're a moderator as well. Make sure you're patterning. Make sure you're all liking people. We're gonna get out of it soon, but we're here for now. Bro, yeah, man. I was frustrated with him not using Martinelli, but it is what it is, man. But I do think people are getting a bit overboard with Martinelli. He's a quality player, but you know, there was it what game was it? He was playing right wing, he was quite poor. David Martin. I'm not sure if you're a Millwall fan, but me, I'm a 4-3-3 man. If everybody's fit and I'm allowed to do what I need to do with the team, you know, Leno picks himself in goal. Ain't seen nothing of the other keeper yet in an Arsenal shirt to be suggesting otherwise. But I go with Leno in goal. I go with right now. You know, long term it'd be Saliba, but I'm going with Gabriel and David Luiz right now. If I was playing a game tomorrow for Arsenal, or if I got the job tomorrow, Gabriel and Saliba. Gabriel and Luiz, obviously, if fit. Personally, I'd prefer Maitland-Niles at right back. Kieran Tierney picks himself at left back. People really, really and truly. In midfield, it's a bit of a gazy one, but I'm going with Partey, Ceballos, Mesut Ozil, or Willian in that 10 role. Up front, Aubameyang plays through the middle for me. Saka on the left, and I'm going with Pepe on the right, my dude. Bro, Saliba you need to learn these lessons very quickly. You know, you need to learn these lessons quickly. Saliba is only going to learn playing, seeing what he does well, seeing what he does wrong. You know, it's all about positioning for me with Saliba. If Saliba played against Jamie Vardy, he makes a mistake. He's got something immediately to learn from. You know, we can't wrap our players up in cotton wool and expect them to get experience without giving them experience. And Arteta's the one training him, so I'll cut Arteta some slack. He's the one training him and working with him. If he doesn't think he's ready, he's not ready. But I find it hard to believe when there's repeat offenders in and about the team, people. I'm not too sure about that one, my guy. I know Lacazette's in more clinical goal scoring form technically, but if anyone's getting dropped, I'm dropping Laka to the bench and Aubameyang through the middle. But I respect your opinion. Blank check, Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, Szoboszlai, you know, Yari Vestian, Camavinga, Big Boy Baller, Upamecano. Yeah, them and there really. You know, I'd actually even look at a goalie, really. Yeah, apparently he's carrying a knock, or he could have some underlying health issue. I don't know. And that's it, man. He's on the decline, or the natural decline as a footballer, being 31. That doesn't mean I think he's not going to score goals or still be a bad boy. You know, he's going to have to change his game. Messi and Ronaldo, they've changed their game. It catches up with everyone. And I hope, with that being said, we understand that while Aubameyang has his pace and looks after himself, so he will have years, let's not make him do several things that Aubameyang of a couple of years was doing. You know, we have to tailor our game to him. You could play him as a striker, but nah, man, it's a right winger thing. DG's been missing my messages. I'm trying, bro. You're all talking. It ain't my fault, man. Who's the worst player you would get rid of now, Deluded? Oscar, difficult one. Arsenal team. It's a difficult one thinking the worst because they're all a bad bunch, you know. I feel probably the worst centre half in the books might be Socrates. He's probably the most old school sort of defender, but I'd say Socrates. You know what, sir? Socrates, Mustafi. I'd entertain an offer for Bellerin. I like Chambers, but I need to raise funds, so Chambers is someone that could potentially go. I'm a big fan of El Nene, but if the right offer comes, that's someone I would let go as well. I wouldn't mind keeping Xhaka, but again, the right offer comes, you might have to keep it moving. Kolasinac, without a doubt, needs to keep it moving, bring in the next left back or let someone else do that. Probably Joe Willock as well. You know, I believe in him as a squad player. I think he's got a future, but I need to start seeing stuff. And just the usual offenders, Oscar, my guy, man. Just the usual man that you and I know shouldn't be at this team. I'd say that, really, man. Hey, don't speak that into existence. Touch some wood. Everybody touch some wood. Hit the like on the video and touch some wood. We do not need an Aubameyang contract. We need to be patient, but be patient for what? That's the problem with Arsenal fans. Why are we being? I'm not saying eggs up yourself and shout and carry on, but why are we being? What is there to be patient about beyond, you know, our faith in Arteta and some of the players? There ain't nothing to be there. Ethan, it's too early, man. I'm gonna go with Arsenal, say 2-1 Arsenal, but truthfully, in my heart, I'm not too sure that's the case, man. Marcus, regulation. You know, Marcus is coming like party in the chat, man. Serious moderator, serious defensive mid thing, people. Big up George, man. I've spoken about, you know, big up George. He does a lot of good work. We've got something coming in terms of written thingies as well. I've spoken about Mauro Brandira as well. There's actually, I spoke about him in the under 18s thing. In fact, I'm going to speak about him now again, people, really and truly, because he's on my notes somewhere. Let me make sure that this can be clipped up. People, Mauro Brandira, I think he's a very good prospect, as George said. You know, for me, if you you can't watch the game, but if you watched it against West Brom, you saw a composing midfield performance. You saw him grab an assist. You see him Cruyff turn and send somebody shot. What I love about that young 16-year-old, I'm picking it wisely, but you know, for the under 18s team or the under 18s version, he's under 18s party, you know. He breaks up plays. He is big, but he's not, you know, in person, I've met him. He's massive, people, for a 16-year-old. And I think that's something that's gonna stay with his game, people. He's very strong, he's very composed, he wins the ball back. When he tackles, he means it, he don't play around. You know, he's very strong, and in the middle, he's a bit different, you know. We've got hella creative midfielders in the academy, but he's got that and the strength thing. And I think if we was looking at somebody else, if we was looking at someone with a bit difference to come through the academy, is him. He's got a great partnership, as George has said. It's getting confusing. There's too many Georges now. As George has said, with Patino. Patino's been doing the Xhaka thing at under 18s level. Mauro can build, you know, he's very strong. He's got a lovely passing range. He got an assist. You know, he's very creative. You know, he can play ball. He's not afraid to play in tight spaces. He's a very good player with a fantastic future. Whether he plays for England or Portugal moving forward through the youth ranks, I don't know. But Mauro is a very decent and tidy player. You know, you saw him get opportunities in the FA Youth Cup last season. He's someone I think can get opportunities in the under 23s. He just needs to improve at the usual stuff in relation to his age. But I think Mauro is a terrific player with a lot of potential. I like him a lot. He's strong, people. That's the one thing I love. Say he's strong when he tackles, he means it. Lovely passing range, like, you know, Patino, Mauro, Flores, you know, they've all got lovely passing range in the under 80. Amari Hutchinson, who right now is leading the assist charts, actually played left back against West Bromwich Albion. We've got some good prospects, people. I think Mouro's going to have a good future in the game. I think Patino is. I think Flores is. Amari Hutchinson, I love that lad, you know. He played left back against West Bromwich Albion, and I guess you have to consider he might play there one day in the future. But in the creative midfield role, he's stronger than his frame suggests. He's got good balance. I really love the under 18s that we've got, people. We've got some good players. You've got Zach Away and Mon Louise in defense. You've got Brooke at right back. You know, you've got Daniel, second-year scholar. You know, we've got some good players in and around that team. I've got a lot of time for them, people, man. Yeah, man. Big up George, because we're the only two really doing this Arsenal youth thing properly, really and truly. But yeah, man, that's what I feel about Mauro. I think Mauro is a very good player. And that's a lovely clip. Let me We've been here for just over an hour, people. I don't want to waste any more of your time. So let's see what else are there. I go. Or again, like I always say, typically, 9 times out of 10, the opposition team stream it. I'm not going to give away any free game apart from that. That's this. Just pay attention to that one. I always get that question. I'm not saying you, Ethan, it can be a bit antagonizing, because it's a bit political right now. You see me? But we move, man. EG, what do you think about getting back that chemistry between Oba and Laka playing up front? Mr. Days when they got that goal and bow and handshake after they score. I think we've left that, my guy. I think it could still happen. Lacazette could still keep scoring goals through the middle. Aubameyang scores goals and we're in better form as a team. We're still doing that. But I think in relation to playing those two up front, it could be done. But it's for me, if we was to go 4-4-2, it's about the midfield. With Partey, I've got more confidence behind them. So I guess it could be a thing. But I think it's either or, and by the same logic, as much as I would like to see that, there is genuine debate to say, it imbalances the team when both play together. You could say it brings balance. You could say it also doesn't balance it. It's a crazy one. Big up Zeke, man. We played 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I think that's as effective as it gets. I think it's more of a coaching thing, my guy. Don't. Bro, David, come on, man. Come on, David. You took the words out of my mouth, If this say I'd say one above that, I'd do you a favor and say the actual man who owns this football club, but we'll have to see, man. George has said you think he's the strongest midfielder since Frimpong coming out the academy. It's difficult, but he's a strong lad. I wouldn't want to play against him. First time I saw him, he was training. Backed off his bro. My man is lit, like he's built, fam, for a 16, 17-year-old. He's on a madman thing, and it's all natural. When you've got that and you've got the technical ability, Moro's going to be a baller, okay? You don't have to rely on the physicality, Someone like J. Emmanuel Thomas, who had to create, was a baller with his feet, but was also strong. You could see he kind of struggled a bit as he, people caught up physically and he went to the senior game. I don't think that's going to, different players, but I don't think that's going to be a problem with Buendia because, he's got the technical ability and I think he's going to keep getting stronger and he doesn't rely on his strength. He doesn't go around just mashing up people. He stays on his feet. He wins the ball back and he's solid when required. I really got a lot of time for him, man. And he's got the cane rose. He reminds me of when I used to have long hair as well. So there's also a lot of love there for him, man. Good player, though. Good player, though, man. Man said DG only reading moderator comments. Just for that, you're getting out of here because that's not true, man. Don't try to lie on my name. Get out of here, man. You're evicted still. An idiot use there. But he's not a moderator. What do you think about Nketiah? I think Nketiah is a good player, but he needs to start showing a bit more in the first team environment. Being a bit more clinical in front of goal, taking your chances a bit more, having a bit more of a mark on the game. Already spoke about that, my guy. You're going to have to go back, man. What do you think about all large forwards being poor in the air bar Martinelli, especially when compared to Liverpool's forwards in their heights? I don't even think, not too sure to what to say about that, really. I think Lacazette's all right in the air. He scored an okay amount of headers. It would be nice having a target man, of course. But yeah, man, Martinelli's on a madness. I don't discriminate, man. You have to get out of here when you're talking nonsense, man, because it's not true. It's fully not true, and I'm happy you lot have found that funny. It's fully not true. Like, don't try to lie on DG. What do I do to anyone? I don't do anything but make videos. I don't trouble no one. So why man want to lie on a one DG? Why man want to tell lies? It don't make no sense. It don't make sense. But moving forward, yeah, George is getting on to me. I'm gonna get out of here soon, man. Bro, I saw that video of you badding up a man on IG. Listen, I'm not on a bad boy thing. I'm not a bad boy. Football makes people do relevant things. I'm actually quite upset with my conduct. The team won. Not gonna lie, it's a head loss thing. We lost. This team done the double over us. And if we had a better keeper and one of the man them actually came to the game, we could have patterned them. And the youth that I'm arguing with, he's giving verbal all game, to people. He's leaving something on people. Me and him are going at it. And plus, I got caught playing out from the back by him. He done good pressing, really and truly from him. I thought, you know what, you're not even good like that, you know. After that clamps, it's like, you know, you're not having a good day today, man. Your team might win, but you're having a bad day. I just want to intimidate you and get you out of there because you're moving too mad and you're moving like a see you next Tuesday. So it's actually not been recorded, but a couple of them 50-50. I'm taking him and taking the ball. There's not much of me, but when I try to take a man, I'm taking you. And he's getting upset about that. And I can't lie, at that time, it's towards the end of the game, we lost it, people. We walked past me, I was like, you know, F it. Boom. Make it, let's get it cracking. And because one thing I can't take, you know, I don't like, listen, forget the fighting thing. I like to play football. But what I don't like is when, like their team, when man say, watch after the game, do this and do that. All right, cool. Make sure you're throwing out them dukes because we can do that after the game. But during the game now, I'm going to do everything I can to make this thing pop off now because, you know, it is what it is, you know. I don't like that. Don't talk crud and then be saying, oh, it's only football and all them thing there. Pattern off yourself, man. Pattern up yourself, man. Hey, we need to get the spammers out, man. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I've missed it, my guy. I think I've answered it. I think I saw your name before, but it is what it is. Bro, I'd have to say it's the competence, really. I'd have to say it's the competence. It's the IQ of the players, man. I'd have to say that. Love my guy. Hey, listen, Lacazette might be done, but at the same time, let's keep a balanced head. You know, Lacazette will come through at some points this season. Lacazette has still got 3 goals, but at the same time, I don't think Lacazette is a player you can rely on in a sense of, I think he complements the side well. You know, he's big, he's good in big games. You know, over a 38-game period, he'll chip in. But I can't bet my life that he's going to play well. And I think he's lost a yard of pace personally. So I personally wouldn't give Lacazette a new deal, but I do think he could have a part to play. And in fact, I would give him a new deal if he sat on the bench, you know, like if he not sat on the bench, but understood, you know what, it's a rotation plan B thing. So it is what it is in that regards. If he did, it'd be cool. All right, Keelan, thought you went missing. You're normally posted up in these things, my guy. But you're right, still, you know, it's ridiculous. To be fair, this season, MUSTAFI ain't had much of a look in, and that mistake isn't MUSTAFI's mistake in isolation. But it is what it is, man. What else is there? Big up DG. I'm very worried now at the moment. Who in our team do you think can sort out our creative issues? As I feel only Saka has the brains in our squad to do it. Mesut Ozil, but he's not relevant. But I guess you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to. 1 second. Needed this to be a bit brighter. It's getting darker outside and there's glare. But as I was saying, you're gonna have to be a bit creative. Ozil's not relevant, you know. I wouldn't mind Willian in that role. I wholeheartedly agree, Gumsy. You know, with Saka in there, you know, I wouldn't mind Nelson or Emil Smith Rowe getting a look in there. I don't believe in Joe Willock's capabilities as a creative man. I like him as a pivot man, but you know, I guess you have to kind of consider that. Apologies, my phone is gonna die. I guess you kind of have to consider that personally, my guy. So yeah, man, we've got to fix it in house. But I'd say, I'd like to see Willian given a run out there first. I'd consider Saka, and I'd like to see Smith Rowe given an opportunity to prove he can do a thing, man. Let's hope you're right, Mr. Jacobs. Let's hope you're right, man. Because if that don't happen, we're coming for you. We're coming for you, fella. Bro, Oscar, I'm telling you, bro, you know my answer to that thing. I thought I'd answer that in a typical Arsene Wenger way, but you know my answer, man. Them man there, got to keep it moving, man. Them man there, I've got to keep it moving. Exactly. He's more of an 8 than a 10, but people mistake too much creativity and a creative mid. You can be an 8 and be the creative outlook of your team. You know, would you say Kevin De Bruyne is a 10? He can play there, but he's playing in central midfield, you know? So it is what it is. That is something, you know, that could, hey, Vishwas, forgive me for mispronunciations. That is something, you know, that is something that could be done. But then, you know, you're probably having to rely on your fullbacks to provide the width and be the creative outlets because you're losing your wingers. If you play with 2 wingers, if you play with wingers, then you know you're relying on Partey in that back 3. In fact, not just Partey, that you know, the midfield in particular, the central midfielders to work 10 times harder and be a bit more switched on. Will they do that? I'm not entirely sure. And that's a question I'm going to leave for you to answer. One more question, people, and I'm going to get out of here, people. But What question? Someone give me something different, man. Let me scroll up. I'm missing out there. Or I'm trying to, but you lot are doing a mazza for me. I really enjoy it. I think, hey, make sure you're keeping aware of my stuff, people. I think I'm going live tomorrow as well. If I remember rightly, me and Turkish. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Me and Turkish will be live on here. I'll have another live with someone as well. So we're gonna have to do a thing. But you know, there's no other question. I'm just gonna keep it moving. All right, prediction for United game: 2-1 Arsenal, 2-1 Arsenal, 2-1 Arsenal. Hopefully, but last question, Adrian Jacobs. I'm almost finished it, and I would say underwhelming. Not underwhelming from his live point of view and Arsene Wenger's point of view. It's because there's a lot of what I expected, but at the same time, as an Arsenal fan, dying, hoping for just a little insight as to what was happening. Disappointing. He's very much stayed Arsene Wenger, being a gentleman, loose lips, sink ships sort of thing. So I think that was it, really and truly. Defo don't agree with that. Would like to see Balogun get a chance, not necessarily over Eddie, because I'm not a fan of how Eddie's always thrown into the Balogun thing, but I would like to see Balogun get a chance, but it's down to him to impress. So, yeah, man. And that's the saddest thing. That's the saddest thing. You know, yesterday it was our centre half. That's the saddest thing, my dude. On that note, though, man, I think there's nothing more to say or add, so I'm going to keep it moving, man. Big up yourselves for tuning in. Please make sure you hit the like. Zach has said what time in relation to Turkish. We're going to be here at 12 p.m. Well, noon English time. So wherever you lot are, wherever you lot are, please make sure you've got that pattern. There's going to be 2 lives tomorrow. I'm not too sure on the time of the other live, but we'll pattern. Just make sure you've got your alerts on. Just make sure you're aware of the socials. Make sure you're alert on the community tab, people, because you lot are violating me on YouTube community tab. You lot are not interacting with man. You lot was never going to thingy. You lot never interact with man. I'm onto you lot still, man. You lot need to get me to 10,000 on Instagram as well, so I can do the swipe up thing. Follow the Instagram, you know, Deluded Gooner 04 on every possible platform. Go and check out the podcast. Take me in, people. It's ridiculous. You lot need to start rating my thing a bit, man. Would like to see him get a chance. It's coming, bro. It's coming, bro. It's coming, bro. Trust me, very quickly. It's happening soon, man. But on that note, I'm really out, man. As Zach said, catch y'all tomorrow. Big up as usual. It means a lot, my guy, man. And this is, you lot gotta be on the George thing. Follow the man them on all the platforms. Come on, people. I just want 10,000 on Instagram. I just want you lot to take in the podcast a bit more. We're 2 YouTube centric people, so please do that for me. Please like the vid. Nothing I'm asking you lot to do costs money, so I'd expect that. On that note, though, people, DG.